Hello everybody, this is Kirby over yonder, and Flash animation can be used for some really good things. Some of my favorite cartoons of all time are animated in Flash, and it's a really good resource to use when you're just starting out with animation. However, since Flash is very easy to use, many creators just use it to be very lazy. The cartoons on this list are either sloppily put together, unpolished, and just annoying to watch. Oh, and just like my best Flash cartoons list, I am excluding web cartoons, as it's not really fair to include them on a list like this, because they aren't necessarily mainstream animation. Everyone ready? Let's go! Number 5. Johnny Test. Johnny Test. It's pretty much about an arrogant, obnoxious, stuck-up kid named Johnny who bugs his sisters into doing what he wants them to do. Johnny is very obnoxious. He's very stuck-up, selfish, and just wants to do everything for himself. I know some kids do act like this, but does it really make for a fun show to watch? Also, the animation, while not the worst out there, is very stiff and awkward looking. And those freaking whip sound effects every 5 seconds, they're obnoxious and I hate it. I know some people do like this cartoon, and that's perfectly fine. In fact, even I watched it as a kid, but even as a kid, I always thought it was okay at best. Number 4. Breadwinners. If you want to see how terribly awful Nickelodeon's gotten nowadays, then take a look at this pandering piece of garbage. I know this cartoon is for kids, but good god is it pandering. It's some of the most pandering garbage I've seen since Illumination's movies. And trust me, those movies are very pandering. While early SpongeBob episodes were definitely made for a younger audience, they still had that adult edge to them which made them enjoyable to both kids and adults. But Breadwinners doesn't even try to do that. All they try to do is sing obnoxious songs and fart in people's faces. And personally, I think kids deserve better than that. Number 3. SpongeBob on Speed. I mean Coconut Fred. Although calling it SpongeBob on Speed is kind of accurate. Seriously, this cartoon pretty much takes everything good about the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob and makes them incredibly annoying. It's about an overly happy, optimistic character who unintentionally annoys everyone around him and lives on a tropical setting. Yup, it's SpongeBob but worse. Early SpongeBob episodes knew to make SpongeBob just annoying enough so the audience gets a point, but not so annoying to the point where the audience themselves gets annoyed by his antics. But in Coconut Fred, none of the characters even react to the annoying things that Coconut Fred does, thus making the show less enjoyable to watch. Every second of this show just gives me a headache. Thank God it only has 13 episodes. Number 2. Teen Titans Go. Really, Cartoon Network? Out of all of the great shows you have, like Adventure Time, The Amazing World of Gumball, and We Bare Bears, this is the show you choose to air all the time? While I've only seen about 3 or 4 episodes of the original Teen Titans, from what I have seen, the original show was actually mature and took its audience seriously, unlike this show, which just likes to throw in stupid songs and fart jokes into your face. Do we really need 11 minutes of the characters singing waffles or doing the pee-pee dance? The writers of the show even called their own humor stupid, and all of their fans stupid, which is just such a nice way to treat your show. In fact, they've even made episodes dedicated to trolling the haters of this show. That's just one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen a cartoon do. especially from a really successful one like this. Teen Titans Go is stupid, lazy, pathetic, and overall ruins the reputation of a show that a lot of people love. It's easily among the worst. Before we get to number 1, here are some dishonorable mentions. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Yeah, I never really liked this cartoon. I always found it to be very boring and mean-spirited. But there are definitely worse cartoons out there. Miracle Star. This one is a very blatant ripoff of The Amazing World of Gumball, and would probably be number 6. I actually talked about this one in the top 5 worst cartoon ripoffs, so if you want to hear my review of it, I discuss it in that list. Bunsen is a Beast. This one is very loud and obnoxious and has some really bad voice acting. However, at least it is somewhat creative, and it's not necessarily bad enough to be on this list. Number 1, The Nut Shack. Oh, jeez, come on, really? The Nut Shack? This show was just awful. Where do I even begin? Well, how about if we talk about the animation first? It's very stiff looking and awkward, and most of the characters just look disgusting. And since this is a stereotypical adult cartoon, that means that all of the jokes have to do with either sex or swearing, which isn't clever, it's just annoying. And the voice acting, it is easily the worst voice acting I've ever heard. Seriously, I thought that Bunsen is a Beast had a bad voice acting. At least in Bunsen is a Beast I could understand what the characters are saying. In this show, I can't even understand what's going on because the voice acting is so annoying and awful. But do you want to hear the worst thing about this show? It is boring. It is just so tedious to sit through. At least in the other cartoons on this list, the characters would do something, but most of the time the characters in this show do absolutely nothing. And even when they are doing something, it's incredibly uninteresting to watch. And honestly, adult cartoons have no excuse to be boring, because they have very little restrictions, and even the restrictions they do have don't really matter that much. So it is just pathetic how boring this cartoon is. The Nut Shack is boring, lazy, annoying, and stupid. It is easily in the top 5 worst cartoons I have ever seen, and I never want to watch this show ever again. Despite the bad examples I gave here, Flash animation can be used for some really great things. I mean, some of the animators on YouTube have used Flash in some really creative ways, and Flash animation is really a good tool to use when you're just starting out with animation. When you put your time and effort into it, Adobe Flash can sometimes look even better than hand-drawn animation. Just try not to be lazy with it. Were there any bad Flash cartoons that I missed? Please let me know in the comments if there were. And with all that, Kirby out.